Hello, I am the maniacal Dr. Watts, and welcome to the Shrouded Isle Sunken Sins. A game where you're the head of a cult, trying not to summon, I think, or trying to summon, Cthulhuing god. Not Cthulhu himself. Lovecraftian gods? Whatever. It's a game where you do stuff with cults. On brand. Let's go. So I have played a little bit of this game. I picked it up in the Steam summer sale. Yes, I do actually want to overwrite my save. 495 years ago, our founders saw that humanity would perish except the worthy. Our Lord will return in glory to reward the faithful. Yet there are sinners in our community. This text moves really fast. As the high priest, I must select a sinner to sacrifice every season. 5 years until Judgment Day. If we are free from sin, he will save us from this suffering. Also, this game has pretty good music. So yeah, I picked this game up in the summer sale, and I figure we played it a little bit because actually it's pretty fun. So essentially, the main point of this game, you have 5 years, you go through each season, and each season you have to sacrifice somebody, and we have to select an advisor from each house, and I'll sort of show exactly how this sort of all ends up working, but we have a letter. Your Excellency, I'm gonna mess up all of these names. Andri... Icefeka... Andri has begun to fast and refuses to eat in honor of Chernobog. It is not a ritual from the scripture, and it's... I don't know which house... obviously, so this would be the Icefeka house. Worries that this piety may end in death. Will you not help? So, it's somewhat interesting that we actually value ignorance. Oh boy. Destroy forbidden records and erase the sinful past. There's a lot of stuff, and also it kind of just throws you in. Like, this is effectively how it throws you into the game. So we're trying to balance out these 5 things. And there's a lot of unknowns to us. So we can either encourage discipline in something else, or encourage fervor and discipline. This has the potential of helping us out more. Somebody go for it. Just discipline. Only discipline. That was a really bad choice. Right. So there's sort of... stuff sort of opens up as you play. Yeah, we sort of haven't... So we haven't really necessarily been given a goal. Now... These are all the members, so in this case, these are all the members of the Blackborn family. And we can begin inquiries on them. I have no clue what, like, is good to do. Oh, apparently we can also rename villager. Any villager? Any villager, except for the Inquisitor, obviously. So, either... we can, so we have an idea of each person has a virtue and a vice, and that means that they'll bring up something or bring down something. Now I tend to find that the vices tend to be more helpful, and we need to be considering who we're going to as the advisors. These are going to be the things that they're going to end up affecting. So I think, actually, this is who I'd like to actually look at. So, I don't know what this value... I think this affects... Oh, this affects another slider that I don't think is actually visible here, which makes it slightly annoying. So fervor. Yeah, if you look... So I don't know exactly what the down... I'm assuming that's telling me that it's actually going to end up affecting how the family feels about us. I don't think actually I need to do that then. If it's... Yeah. Let's see. Obedience we also have a lot of. So let me actually see. I want to know what your virtue is. Bringing up ignorance. So in this case, actually, I'll sort of get into like the logic of who I'm picking once we get to a different screen. Right now, it's not especially for the first one, it doesn't seem like, and as you can see, we can also confine people later on. It's not particularly important who we pick up, except for we sort of want to be careful. Oh boy. I'm not too worried about any of you. I think we just pick up somebody who's undisciplined, so I'd like somebody who has another effect. Disobedient, or not undisciplined, disobedient is the thing I'm thinking of. Wow, this is expensive. Oh, because this is our second one. I really want to know. Okay. Unrepentant. So if we have them as our advisor, we don't know what they're going to affect in a positive manner, but I don't think the sliders can go too high. Oh, we can actually see plus 16, plus 40. We can actually see that value. Got you. Oh, okay. So with this family in particular, Matron Kegney, and I should have actually read, this also shows what the family itself is responsible for. Yeah, so the advisor for House Kegney will oversee burning books and improving village ignorance. Which means that this is the house that we'd most be looking for somebody who improves that. Man, I don't really know who we should go for in this case. I guess additional fervor? This one I'm not too sure about, that particular choice, but once we actually get into... Okay, once we actually get into the further screen, I'm sort of, not stalling, but trying to think through all of my decisions. Seeing as this doesn't, even though we have a lot of favor with this family apparently. So even with that, undisciplined. This is actually a really good set of traits. I think in that case, I'm gonna use up a little bit of our favor. Okay, so considering these two, we'll go here. We can actually look further into our appointed advisors. There we go. I was trying. This was the word I was effectively looking for. The other thing we kind of have to be careful of is that these are actually also the people that we're gonna get to choose who to get rid of at the end of the season. You'll see. You'll see. Let's see. I don't really know who to go for in this case. Let's find out. Obedient. That balances out the other obedience people that we have, but I sort of would rather somebody who can actually increase fervor. So let's look at Katrina. Full of fervor. Okay, we'll go with them as our advisor. So these are our 5 advisors, and this is where sort of the meat and potatoes of this game comes in. So we can select a number of advisors, and our goal is to keep all of these bars balanced out. So I think in this case, we're only going to pick one person, but also notice that this also affects the families themselves. So they don't like it when their people don't get chosen, for somewhat obvious reasons. In this case, I'd be a little bit worried about actually this family because we need favor with them. So interesting. The fact that this vice is actually going to negatively impact our obedience. I think we'll also go with them since we're really looking for favor. And it looks like this will also actually improve ignorance overall. So we lost a bunch of ignorance in this. Oh my god. Yeah. So apparently they're... Ooh, vice rumor. Aaron is rumored to be... knows too much. Aaron pulls the town on the threats about a library. Ignorance has gone down by a large margin. So we can again inquire further into them, but this does cost us points, effectively. I'd like to know... Wow. That's awful. The scholar. Good. So it looks like he's improved it a little bit, but he has decreased obedience by a little bit too. I'm not too worried about, see, a whole bunch more bars go up. There's a lot just sort of going on. But that seemed like it went pretty alright. Oh, that's extremely unfortunate. It was this one that we tacked on there. I wasn't super paying attention, but it was actually the family in charge of... Okay. In that case, I think we have to pick you. And since we have plenty of we might want to be careful with what exactly we do here. Let's pick Iva. I should judge all souls as fairly as I can. We also have an additional month that we have to make it through. Now, this being negative at the end of this season isn't necessarily a problem, but it can turn into a problem if it's multiple seasons in a row. So confiscate goods. We got an average outcome. Seized. So a little bit of discipline. An unknown value of pittance. And we lost some discipline overall. So it seems like we're doing pretty alright. I would actually like to know how much that seems like quite a bit. I'm actually going to use a little bit of favor. So impulsive. It's not negative 30 though. Interesting. Okay. So lost a little bit. It's gained, and apparently the Blackbourne house is now zealous towards us. Oh. It turns out that Andrew's disciplinary lessons have become a bit of a study group. They've written a book called The Laws of Living, with guidelines of living a disciplined life more easily in the village. So we can distribute a copy, but Vicar Effersons, so Effersons are these guys. They feel neutral towards us. Will not like it, this. We already have the scripture, "It is good enough." So interesting enough, the house in charge of fervor will not like this. They're also neutral towards us. Or I will read it and then decide, and it has an unknown effect. This seems... Let's see, they have +2, they have +18. What's interesting here is that this doesn't say that the family won't like us, it's that this particular person won't like us. And I think in that case, I don't know what this means. Let's go for this one. Approval. So they gained approval. They lost a little bit of approval. That actually didn't go super great because we actually would have preferred it to be the other way around. But we gained discipline. So that went pretty alright. Interesting enough, he was undisciplined. I wonder if that's going to have any sort of effect. We have to pick somebody again. We might actually be able to bring ignorance all the way back up. If unfortunately we don't have anybody. I also don't know. I don't think this affects. This probably does actually affect how the outcome of if their job is discipline and they're bad at being disciplinary, then they're probably bad at doing that. So in that case, I think we're gonna go with I need to stop attempting to pronounce that particular name. Yeah. Let's go with them. So we got an average outcome, and this might just be a random die roll actually, and that these values are the only thing that guaranteed affect it. We could inquiry on them. I'm not going to worry about that too much at the moment. We managed to bring ignorance all the way back up to a positive number, but we lost more obedience in the process, so that's not super great. I would like to know just how ignorant you actually are. Okay, just a +10. And all the sliders sort of go up and down. It seems like we're in a pretty good spot. It looks like these two families in particular aren't quite happy with us. So the season's end draw nears, and a sacrifice must be made. The greater convenes who will be the sacrifice this season. Now, what I find interesting about this is that this -30, I think this is a sinner. That's what I think. Because I think that's normally what the -30 actually means. That's what it tells you. So the family will be extremely dissatisfied with us, but this will give us a great boost in ignorance, and we'll only lose a little bit of fervor in this. Yeah. So an uncertain virtue. So if we actually knew what the virtue was, I think that would bring it down a little bit. So we should have actually investigated that, because that meant that we would have lost less. But this is what I'm going with. Ugh. That's a big splurt of blood. We sacrifice the life of Aaron in the name of Chernobog and the good of our people. Our condolences to House Kegney. So apparently this one's considered a just sacrifice, and they mourn Aaron. The house has an extreme disapproval, but obviously all the other houses a little bit happy about it. For ridding their community of a blighted soul, so they're happy about that. Ooh. The night before the new season, a whisper caresses your dreams. My faithful servant, I await your devotion. Encourage pitnits, deserve suffering for mortal sins. The swindler, give him to me. The swindler. I had issues finding the swindler before. So now we have an actual goal. So we need to encourage pitnits. Our mailbox is empty. And I think this isn't open yet. So let's... So now this is sort of where we're at. Now we gained a lot of favor with this family in particular. So I think we're going to use it. I don't know what the swindler necessarily results in. Also, so the one that we found was the scholar, so I think looking at people who know too much isn't really worth it, to my understanding. So they're merely gluttonous. And a hermit. And impulsive. Okay, so we don't know of any sinners in this house. And we have no clue what these other two people are about. That seems somewhat unfortunate. Let's look at the Efferson estate. I pray for your health. So this is interesting. If I look at an inquiry on just about anybody. Okay, so we can get away with a 0-1, or we could lose just a little bit looking at their vices. This is the family responsible for pittance. Interesting. Okay. So in that case, I would prefer somebody who is possibly undisciplined, or, yeah, because that's the one thing we can lose the most out on. But this pick actually matters, and we don't have good information about this family. So... I think disobedient is the best. Yeah, it's the best we're sort of gonna get. Let's see. That would take a little bit. I want to know just how disobedient you are. Apparently you're cynical. So that's bad, but do we take a chance on this guy being worse? I think we do. Because that also means that he could potentially become our sacrifice at the end of the season. Let's see, they're satisfied with us, but we also need to keep in mind that we generally lose favor. It's hard to gain favor. Right, this house is extremely, they're dissatisfied with us. At a negative 38, so we're gonna have to sort of do something to try and, I'm assuming, bring that up. So I don't think we want to do anything that results in a negative value. Okay, they could bring ignorance up. Actually, I should have looked, well, we wouldn't have been able to look at their vice. This is who I think we're going to make a point, because we need to encourage this. And that also means that we guarantee having them in a position of power. Let's see. We have no good choices here. I think in this case, we're going to look at vices. Just simply stubborn. The embezzler. Okay. So this makes this also lets me know that the swindler is apparently not related to discipline. Oh, interesting. Wait. I can find out. Can I? Well, Doubtful, militaristic, timid. Liar, narcissist, stubborn, swindler. Oh. Are these not in order? I should have realized that. Okay. I think this is... it's not who we're looking for. But we definitely aren't going to make them our advisor. If it wasn't for the fact that we're actually... You know what? In that case... Okay, this... Oh, okay. I see how this is set up now. This is set up to make you fail. Sort of. So what I'm saying is that if you look, the swindler is the unrepentant one, which means that we're trying to root out the unrepentant one. If you don't find them with your inquiries, the only other way to do it is by making them advisor, which means that they're guaranteed to give you a negative effect, which makes it really bad. Interesting. That's really... I find that extremely interesting, the way that that's essentially set up to make you fail. As fit as a fiddle. Only silvered glass mirrors saved from the old world. Taking her lashes for her. I think we're gonna... I don't really know who to go for in this family. We still have inquiries here. I would like to know... Disobedient. And lacking fervor. Okay. So... We have fervor. We have lots of discipline. And we... Okay. You're the sort of obvious choice here. That doesn't necessarily make them a good choice, but it makes them an obvious one. And here... We could... We have lots of discipline. I'm going to make Piotr again. I think we chose him last time, actually, our advisor. Okay, that's who we're going with. This is going to be... I'm going to try to see... this could go really badly. I'm going to try to see if this one is our center. And we're going to have to do this month. So to sort of counteract that, assuming they are, let's go with the other two here. To really bump it up. Even if, like, he'd have to really, really mess it up. Oh, this could be such a bad idea. Okay. So we gained a little bit of ignorance. Gained a little bit of penitence. Not much at all, though. So Susan seems like she doesn't cause much at all to change. So that kind of makes them safe. We have no clue how they're virtue affected, and based on that, this is not our sinner. Yep, they're simply a narcissist. They are not the swindler. So it's somewhat good. Oh, we had a poor outcome here. Oh, because they're undisciplined, so I am correct in that sort of thought process. But you didn't seem to have much effect other than that. So I think we're going to have these two next time. There we go. Okay. Ooh. Interesting. Why does that bring it down so far? Because the family isn't as happy. Interesting. Well, we can bring it down a little bit. And let's also... Okay, so these two alone would have to be required to bring that one up to neutral. So let's do that. So again, this one isn't really that extreme changes. Average outcome brought it up by a bit, but we lost quite a bit of obedience, so much so that we actually went negative on that. Oh, I accidentally clicked a button. What? What? Why is that? Is that just a visual bug? Neutral? Okay. I think we want to gain more in this family still. But we need obedience, and we have nobody who can increase obedience. That's extremely unfortunate. Unless that would do it, but we would lose a lot of discipline. And that would like barely bring them both up. And I just realized something is that we don't actually have a good sacrifice. And we have to sacrifice one of these people. Oh, we should have picked up the embezzler. That was a mistake. And we know that none of these seem to be, well, maybe some of them are the sinners. I don't know exactly how that system works. Ooh. Let's go with this. This isn't like the best choice. But I'd like to know exactly. Apparently they're a sadist. And that's what results in so much fervor. Oh, this family is now dissatisfied though. They're apparently hard to please. Must be made to protect the village. Oh man. I think you're... Okay, we've sort of a problem here in that like we don't know enough about any of these people. And lose discipline. And lose discipline. Ooh. Okay, I think we actually can't get rid of her. We can't get rid of them. This might actually be... That would be highly unfortunate, but this is technically one of the better choices because this sort of results in the least negative impact effectively. I think we go here though. We have two. Then we have two families dissatisfied with us. However, but I think this is what we go with. Unfortunately, we lose out on that discipline, and we still did not find the swindler. I think I'm just gonna let this video go until either I die or you win, maybe? I'm just gonna keep on going. Are discarding the rituals of fasting and focus, I must enforce discipline by the end of the season. Spiritual contagions are spreading amongst the villagers, causing them to behave abnormally. I've decided to unseal the old tower to confine and purify the affected. Now, I have not figured out how to actually root this out. So this is, I think this is like as far as I've gotten, to be honest. See, I don't know what exactly... Confine the villager in a vault to prevent the spread of this contagion and cure her through purification. So I don't know... I should have done that before I actually sent them there to see if I can actually figure out exactly what's going on there. Well, that makes this slightly easier. I'd like to know you're simply undisciplined, so I don't necessarily think that you're the swindler that we're still looking for. Let's see. So I'm just gonna look over all the houses and find anybody who says that they're acting strangely. And it looks like that's the only one, so that's somewhat fortunate. Disobedient. I'm just gonna start looking at people's vices. So none of these seem to be the vice that we're looking for. Let's look in the Efferson house. And we only have the one, and you're unrepentant? The liar. Interesting. So that means that I think the swindler... So this is in order of how bad it is. It's also interesting. Okay. So the unrepentant one isn't necessarily the worst one at being repentant. Stubborn. So, like, are you the swindler? Just stubborn. Dang. I'm not necessarily doing this in the best way possible. So literally can't be here. So we can visit them. We do not fully understand what ails Susan. Examining Susan will help us understand her contagion. Purifying her may cure her affliction or cause unexpected results. Or we can release them. Let's examine. I don't think I've done that. Okay, so we're examining exactly what they have. And we have yet to pick anybody at all for the season. Let's see. Is there anybody who is unrepentant? Interesting that I had to click on that twice. Not really. We need discipline, so let's pick you. Assuming we will be able to actually look at what else they have. Stubborn. We know that apparently you're unrepentant. Let's also take you. What's also interesting is we can also shove people into the tower even if they don't have the disease. I don't know if there's a use for that necessarily, but no, it's an interesting thought. We have plenty of fervor going on at the moment, so let's go for one of you two. We still have inquiries here. Can we do a 0? We can. And I think we're not even going to use up the other one. We really don't have a good reason to, other than finding out future information. Let's see, this is Cadwell, who are responsible for discipline. So actually, okay, I know I just said we don't have a good reason to, but now we sort of do. We want the most disciplined. So athletic is really close to the top one. So we're actually going to go with him. Because that means that we pretty much guarantee like an average outcome. I think, if I understand these systems correctly. And we have to point one of these advisors. Let's go with the one who is disobedient. Yeah, let's go with that. Begin the season. Maybe I'm going a little bit too fast and I should slow down a little bit, but so we definitely want you. But let's also pick these other two families to try and bring them up. So it looks like their virtue had an unknown impact, but we're not too worried about that. Had an average outcome. That all seems pretty fine. Average outcome. And we lost a little bit of pittance, so that's the one thing we are trying to bring up. But they're only a narcissist. They're not the swindler. Average outcome. So it looks like we brought up discipline by a bit, but we didn't bring it up high enough. We can finish those results. A land dispute. Adjudicator of Isfeka, or the Matron Kegni. Oh, I didn't know you could actually find these people. Adjudicator Isfeka complains that carrots have overtaken her monuments. Matron Kegni complains that monument braziers are disrupting her carrot harvests. Our Lord is more important than some vegetables. Oh, man. We could discourage fervor. Can a more carrot-friendly monument be constructed? And this has an unknown effect. I think discourage fervor is the thing that sort of... Yeah, because Kegni don't exactly like us to begin with. We cannot worship if we starve. That did it by a lot, though. Extremely unfortunate, but we're doing okay. We can pick up you, though you have an unknown affliction, so this could go really bad. Let's just have them be dissatisfied. Obviously, we can't satisfy everybody. Well, we can either go for that or go for that. We don't know, actually, and that actually affects fervor. But that effectively has a... Ooh, okay, we have no really good choices here. No, you'd be very poor at actually doing that. Let's have... We also have to consider that we have to sacrifice one of these people. Why does that bring pittance down by -6? Oh, because of narcissists. That's why. I guess let's go with that. Bring up discipline, bring down fervor by just a tiny bit. How much lacking in fervor are you? You're complacent. Yeah, we're not doing super great in this, actually. I want to find out about your vice. Okay, so that brought fervor down by quite... That brought it down by a lot. I'm gonna just go all the way. You're morbid. Okay, I think we're gonna get rid of them. That's our sacrifice, unfortunately. Since that's this family, granted they're neutral, that's probably going to end up, yeah, that's going to end up making them dissatisfied. So with that in mind, do we do this to effectively make it even more difficult for our next one? Oh boy. We could do this. Yeah, we can't really do either one of you. Interesting. I wonder if sacrificing this person would actually increase fervor by enough. Let's try this. Maybe we should have actually have just gone with them knowing that we're about to make them upset. Okay, we had a great outcome for Pittance. We brought down, as we knew we were going to, Fervor by quite a bit. Dissatisfied, neutral. Okay, yeah. People aren't going to be very happy with us. But the season end draws near. Sacrifice must be made to protect the village. The gathering convenes. Who will be the sacrifice this season? I'm going with them. It's going to make them dissatisfied. It's going to bring down discipline, but it's going to bring up fervor. I think this is like a really, really good choice. Even though it's not the thing we're looking for, since we're still looking for the swindler. In the good of our people, our condolences to the House Efferson. It's a just sacrifice. I haven't actually paid attention to what exactly that means. There is negative 30, so they're extremely dissatisfied with us at the moment. And the villagers praise Chernobog. So this is complete. I'm curious. Often hangs around the confessional brooding. They are paranoid, and it brings ignorance down by 10. So we can purify her affliction. Like guaranteed. Okay, so if you find out what it is, that's a guaranteed purification, maybe? You know, by dipping them down, dipping their toe into that really gross water, which is apparently what we do when we try and purify people. We still have not found the swindler. That is what we are looking for. We have one inquiry in this town. You're apparently undisciplined. So you know what? I'm going to make this completely unknown guy the... Oh, man. I bet you that's who it actually is. This is the house that's supposed to be in charge of ignorance. So we have an inquiry. Let's just simply appoint an advisor, because unless this is free, which actually it is, it might depend on what we're looking at, though. It doesn't. In that case, let's actually find out what your unknown is. This, because that gives us more information to go off of. And in that case, unfortunately, ignorance is sort of the thing we can lose at the moment. So in that case, it seems like fervor we won't be able to lose. So let's go with you. This isn't, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's like what we want to go with, but let's see. This family is zealous towards us, so let's just wildly start trying to figure out. Okay, we still don't know. Lacking fervor. So the one we're looking for is not here. I wonder if it's possible for somebody to be diseased if you don't actually know their trait. Obedient. I'm just gonna start throwing crazy amounts at this particular family to just try and figure out what's actually going on here. So the thing we need, so you know what? We can go with you to guarantee a little bit of fervor. And we have a known amount of losing discipline in that case. The Cadwells, who are responsible for discipline. How much fervor do we actually lose from you? Okay. That's good to know. So he's actually a really poor choice. I'm gonna... Oh! Okay. We have to confine them. And that also just answers my question, which is extremely unfortunate, because that means that you actually need to know... So you need to know their trait to actually be able to know whether or not... Right. That makes sense, but that also makes it unfortunate. We can lose out on ignorance, so let's go with you. I don't want to go with you unless we were going to sacrifice you. We're really close, I think, to finding the swindler. Yeah, let's see what your vice is. You're unrepentant. Guess what? Hey, you're the new advisor. We also have the liar. It's interesting, though, because we're looking for specifically the swindler. So we're going to just do these two, and we're going to have to look at what they have. And we're effectively going to see what damage they cause. Knows too much. Okay. In that case... Are you this one? We found them. Okay. Okay. That is the worst. Interesting that it's a major... Maybe they have... Maybe I don't actually understand how that whole thing works. Oh boy. One of these people is dead. Vicar Efferson reports that a familiar, beautiful voice sings in the cathedral at night. Villagers whisper that Aaron Kegney haunts the grounds from beyond the grave, seeking his due. Okay. Why is this... This isn't the person... Huh. So we can either encourage ignorance or encourage obedience. If I remember right, we have somebody... Oh, I wish we could encourage penitence directly, but we just can't. These are both things that we have quite a bit of, but gaining more isn't necessarily an issue. So in this case, I think... Let's encourage ignorance. So we have our sacrifice, but the family is dissatisfied. Oh boy, okay. And we did not pick up somebody who can encourage penitence. So this is effectively what we're going to have to control for in the next one. So let's use you, maybe? Nope. Let's just go with you then. He apparently had an average outcome here, but since he's the swindler, it's going to bring it down by so much that it's still negative. We actually should have found out... We're going to get a massive bonus in penitence, though? Once they go? Once we cut them down? So we might... I should have actually figured out how obedient they are. Okay, I want... This isn't necessarily the best thing to do. But... How high will they be? -4? Yeah, we're not going to be able to... Let's go with that. I want to see... So I don't necessarily care about you. I want to know exactly what we're losing. Militaristic? Obedience? Okay. Then we see these... Yeah, this house is extremely unsatisfied with us. Most of them are okay-ish. The season end draws near. Sacrifice must be made to protect the village. And obviously we are picking the swindler. I wonder if... Okay, I should actually sort of pay attention to some of this stuff. They're going to be rebellious. They're extremely dissatisfied with us. And lose obedience. Okay, but we... Oh, they're going to be outraged since they were also selected in the last season. I think this is who we have to go for, though. This might actually just lose us the game, now that I think about it. That might mean that, like, it's you lose. Really in the community of Blighted Soul. 15 penitence, negative obedience. No! Wait. Okay, no? No? This is just the my most beloved, you struggle so pleasingly. Encourage discipline, denial the worldly pleasures. The thieving one, give her to me. Spring, they are rebellious. If your confessions, man, I must encourage penitence by the end of the season. Is defy my authority, I must appease them this season or risk revolt. Okay, so I have to appease them somehow. Inquisitor Blackburn reports that an outsider has washed ashore. The villagers want to throw him back into the ocean, but you wonder if his arrival is more than coincidence. Return them to sea and encourage discipline. Ask the Blackburn to interrogate him. Ask the Kegney to watch him. Interesting. I'd like to do one of these, but I don't know which one. I guess let's ask Blackburn. Oh, that's just straight up house approval. That's good. I'm gonna look over here. So now you're penitent. Interesting. So now we can release you. Oh! We can actually improve their virtue. Let's not do that, because we actually don't know how good they are. But we can purify them. Currently rebellious. And a negative 95. Oh my god. I have no clue how we're actually going to satisfy them. And a house in which we have lost a whole bunch of discipline, although I think that's actually due to this. So I think we should start off with the Epperson house. Now, the reason we made them rebellious, however, was because they were hiding a swindler. We had no choice. We are also looking for the thieving one. And interesting enough, it was described as a her, so I'm guessing that's what we're looking for. Now, I think that, if I remember correctly, we can actually find out which one of... Did I see pervert? Pervert, interesting. Apparently being a pervert makes you undisciplined. I don't see... I'm not paying super great attention, but I don't see which one... Rebellious... Scarred... What? Which one... Am I not paying attention to the right spot? Or am I going crazy? Childlike, dull, haunted, practical, superstitious, uneducated, artist, curious, imaginative, linguist, scholar, pyromaniac, sadist, singer, violent, complacent, cowardly, gentle, hermit, lazy, morbid, shy, aesthetic, athletic, chaste, masochistic, stoic, embezzler, flirt, generous, gluttonous, pervert, liar, narcissist, stubborn, weasel. Does it mean the kleptomaniac? Since that's thieving, I think it means kleptomaniac, so it's an obedience thing. Okay, I think if I'm understanding that correctly. Also, I think I just noticed that the Efferson estate has somebody who's acting strangely. We need to lock them up. And we're going to go over here and examine them. We seem to be keeping up with this. I have a funny feeling that it becomes harder and harder to actually keep up with them. So it would be somebody who's undisciplined. So we found the pervert. Oh no, unobedient. I think we make them. Yeah. I think this is who we make the advisor for this one. And in worst case scenario, we get rid of this filthy, filthy pervert. Okay, so we have a possible backup. Ooh, that makes me worry that this could actually be... This could be our klepto. And we just sort of have to appoint an advisor here. We need discipline. I don't think we're gonna be able to guarantee it from this house. That's extremely unfortunate. And we know for sure that we can't sacrifice from this house. And actually we're going to have to use whoever we pick. Oh, this could go really bad. So we definitely want somebody who's disciplined. That's the thing we're looking for. The thing we have to lose is pittance. Oh, mainly because I see, the actual goal for discipline went up. Well, in that case, in this family we're actually looking for obedience, so if we get somebody who's really good at it. Let's see, this one's interesting. Ignorance isn't... Fervor is something we can actually lose currently, so you know what? Let's go with you. Rada Blackborn. Even though actually we'd lose quite a bit of fervor, we haven't picked that house yet. So apparently it's actually going to end up being the last house. The Cadwells are going to end up being the last house I actually look at. What if we get rid of the embezzler? And just nick this issue... Okay. Oh, you know what? We can still change... Yeah, you know what? Okay. Okay. I like that plan. We get that person even though that's not the person we're actually looking for. Which means that we don't throw... Wait, does it matter? Doesn't matter. Which one of you is worse? I don't know. We would lose ignorance in this case. We would lose obedience in this case. So actually, you're the sort of not as bad loss. So then in that case, we can actually focus on somebody like you. Yeah. The Effersons? I don't know what to do here. I think we're just gonna have to pick somebody. Man, you really don't have... I think this is effectively the only choice we can really make. Not as in it is the best choice to make, but rather it's the only one? Why don't we have a choice here? I just realized that we can't do anything. Huh. That's interesting. I don't know what to do there. That's not who we're looking for. Cowardly, so maybe you're not quite as bad, actually. Well, that's the thing we're trying to build up. So yeah, I think you're actually not quite as bad. This would be the person we'd actually want to keep. That's all of our advisors picked. This is probably going to be the one where it doesn't go that great. So we'll pick you. And actually, you know what? Let's just pick you. Well, we need to bring up discipline. So I'll also pick you. I'll pick these two. Trying to build up our discipline as we go along. And I won't be able to do any inquiries on this family. Excuse me? Okay, we can look into this family, though. Oh my god, it's a freaking artist. The worst thing in the world. Ow. Okay. That's really bad. They're still rebellious. I don't know if I can actually bring them up in time. We're gonna lose a lot of ignorance doing this. Oh my god, this went awful. Like, this is not gonna go well. And we had a poor outcome. Great! Yeah, this seems like this is the part where we lose. Because I just can't focus. Yeah, ignorance has gone all the way down. Have to do like this? Like I have to do that? Actually, I have to do that. I think. Ignorance can't go down anymore. Secret poetry readings. Like, I don't think it can go negative. They went down, though. I don't think I can bring them up. By nearly enough. Hopefully just not... Yeah, this is who we sacrifice, I think? Oh, this is... Yeah, this is definitely who we sacrifice. They're gonna be rebellious. Oh, because they just really don't like it. I think that's who we do, though. I think that's the right choice. Oh my god, this went awful. Let's see. We sacrificed the life of Urimir in the name of Chernobog and the good of our people. Our condolences to House Icefika. It's a just sacrifice. They're still rebellious. I don't know what that actually means. House Efferson calls me a tyrant. They conspire in the shadows, planning my overthrow? The Efferson mutiny. You are brought to trial and found unworthy. Vicar Efferson appoints himself the new high priest at your execution. Alright, let's view the results. We survived a year and a season. We sacrificed 5 villagers. We got rid of 4 of the major sinners. The house with the most sacrifice, unsurprisingly, was House Efferson. We discovered 23 out of 60 traits. And none of the villagers were awoken. I don't know how to awake villagers. Oh, I do think I actually know how to awake villagers. And we didn't unlock an ending. Interesting. I have theories on how to do that. But that's the end of this run. I think what this ends up meaning is that I'm going to have to put out like I'll see what I'll do. But yeah, that's the end. That is the Shrouded Isle, Sunken Sins. This game is a lot of fun. It's not easy, though, but it's a lot of fun. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.